Hey everyone, a bunch of people keep asking what I eat in a day, so I thought I would quickly go over that. I get up at 3 and straight away I have half a bagel with some honey, cinnamon, butter on it that I share with my dog, a cup of 2% chocolate milk and a 5-hour energy. Then I do my cardio. In between cardio and weights, I have a protein bar, maybe some dried fruit, just some extra calories. And then once I finish, I make my cherry bomb. So the cherry bomb is, we're going to kind of make this. It's a cup and a half of 2% milk. So we're going to kind of put that in. And then we're going to add basically a cup and a bit of cherries. So I have this pack and I basically use half a pack. So we're going to put a bunch of cherries in there. This is obviously some good carbs added into the drink. We're going to add in half a cup of oats. So there's actually a lot of calories, about 190 calories just in the oats alone. So I'm going to throw that in. Then we put in a tablespoon of flax seeds. So flax seed is really good to help you flex while you're weight training. You need to do a lot of flaxing. So it does something. It's a good healthy fat. I think digestion, stuff like that. Then we throw in a scoop of protein. So this is 30 grams of protein. And this on its own is kind of be really, really thick. So what I like to do is just like a second of water I add to this, and then a couple of ice cubes to give it that kind of smoothie kind of feel to it. So just a couple of bits of ice. There we go. Throw those in. And then in the magic blender it goes. So I was actually going to make about 2 cupfuls of this, so it takes me a while to drink this. But it's tasty. You really taste the oats in that. It's going to make a mess there. So I'll drink all of this in about 10 minutes. Then at 8:30 I make my cereal and I have a banana. I don't eat the cereal straight away. You have to let it kind of settle for half an hour so it's have a good consistency of mush. Like in the Matrix where they have that stuff, that's basically what I eat at 9 o'clock. 11 o'clock lunch, that varies. Kind of a lot of egg whites on toast, maybe some spaghetti, turkey sandwich, sometimes a pizza. On a Friday, it's normally pasta and a sauce. 2 o'clock, I'll eat again. I have a protein shake, maybe a PB&J, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It really depends on cashew nuts, common. 5 o'clock dinner, spaghetti bolognese, maybe curry, pizza, burgers, again, calories. And then just before bed, I'll make another smoothie, but this time it's a casein protein and just some fruit with water. So it's about 200 odd calories just before bed. And that's it. So cheers.
Okay, so a little extra bit, because I realized after I recorded that video, I just kind of left it as I eat 4,200 calories on average during a weekday, and people may go out and eat 4,200 calories a day and put on 3 pounds of fat every single week. So I should probably explain why 4,200 is kind of my number. And it's based on the amount of exercise I do. I do a lot of training for Ironman events, so I do huge amounts of cardio every day. I do a lot of weight training every day. And that's really my bottom, my floor. Sometimes I eat more than that during the week, depending on how many calories I'm burning during the day. So it's really this constant kind of calories in and calories out. And so for me, 4,200 is kind of that base number that maintains my body weight. Now, how did I come up with that number? And I want to stress up front, I'm not an expert. This is what I have found based on my trial and error. But if you seriously want to maybe gain weight or lose weight, you should consult a professional to get their guidance on what you should eat, what works. It's really about seeing what works for you, how your body reacts. So this is kind of what I've seen. Now, you need to understand what are your base calorie needs. And there's different ways to work that out, but some of the best ways is you can kind of get those machines that measure your body composition. I have the H20N. So it has kind of like a scale with the feet sensors, and it has a hand sensor on it as well. The ones that are just the feet, generally, I don't think work very well. It has to guess about really the rest of the body composition. But this is kind of my number. So I'm putting this up on the screen. So you can see my body weight. This was actually last night, was 187 pounds. My skeletal muscle mass is nearly 100 pounds. Body fat, 12 pounds. BMI, I basically just ignore. If you carry more muscle, it's a junk number. It's the body mass index. But according to that, I'm overweight. It's really just based on height. I'm 6 foot and the amount you weigh. But again, if you tend to carry more muscle, it's not a good indication. I'm at about 6.6% body fat. Again, there's degrees of inaccuracy, but it's that base metabolic rate. So that's the bit we're actually caring about. So what you can see from that base metabolic rate, it's saying mine is 2,083. Now that's based on a number of different things. You can think about your body has muscle. So I think it's kind of for every pound of muscle, it needs about 6 calories a day to maintain it. For every pound of body fat, it's about 2 calories a day to maintain it. Then your organs, your heart, your kidneys, your brain, your liver, they use up a lot as well. So that 2083 is my number just to exist in a kind of temperature neutral environment, just breathing, not doing anything. And then you multiply that. So what you tend to do is, if you're very sedentary, which is what I assume because I track my exercise separately, you can kind of times it by 1.2. So I kind of just today round that to about 2,400. It obviously should be a bit higher, but that's what I take as my kind of base calorie needs. Now what I then do is it's based on the exercise. Now the reason that 4,200 varies is, so let's say I do elliptical. Elliptical may burn 800 in an hour and a half. If I do bike, well, that may burn 1,060. If like today, I did a 2-hour 10 bike, it was 1,650 calories. So it varies greatly. And then weightlifting is about 400 calories an hour. But again, there's a huge variance there. What is the intensity? What is the amount of weight you're moving? Let's say I do an hour and a half every day, it's another 600. So on average, you might say, okay, you burn an extra 1,500 through exercise. So then you kind of add those numbers together, well, that's kind of 3,900. And then what I kind of do from there is in the afternoon, I typically go for at minimum a little 30-minute walk because my base heart rate is about 40. And I don't like that, it's very low. I like to get my heart rate up because I sit at a desk all day. If I go for a run in the afternoon, that obviously burns about 350 calories versus 100. So again, it would add more calories into there. But I basically come up with, okay, it's about 4,000-ish. And again, it might be different. And I kind of add on a couple of hundred. So I kind of, 4,200 is a typical value for me. But essentially what I do is I track it every day and I try and make sure the amount of food I'm eating is 200 more than what I'm using. So I take kind of my base, 2,400 is what I set my base to. I add in the calories that I burn during cardio and then weightlifting to get my kind of total what I think I've used during the day, and I try and shoot for about 200 more than that. So that's why I come up with 4,200. Again, it varies by day. Some days I'll add more food in because I did more cardio. If I go for a run in the afternoon, it's more. So all of those things kind of vary. Also, like, I'm always hungry. One of the things of that body fat releases hormones, body fat releases kind of signals to your body that gives you a full feeling. So when you have low body fat, you're hungry all the time because your body's kind of saying, oh, you should eat more. We want more body fat on you. So I'm always eating, and I eat a lot of food because I burn so much during the exercise. That's why I eat what I eat and the amount I eat. So I'm not advocating this number at all. I'm not advocating what I do because, again, I do the Ironman training. I do massive amounts of cardio. I do a lot of weightlifting because I try and keep the balance to it. But that number for most people would be way too much. Like professional bodybuilders who weigh 260 pounds, they may eat that amount. But someone my size will typically not eat anywhere close to that. It's because of the amount of exercise I do. So the key point really is, if you think about it, you kind of have calories in, and then you have kind of the calories out, the calories I'm using. And if they're the same, then your weight will stay the same. If you have more calories in than you're using, well then your weight will go up. If you have more going out than you take in, your weight is going to go down. And so there's an experimentation for me to come up with these numbers. Like, I started to up my training because I'm getting ready for Ironman Kona, which is now delayed, and I've lost like 10 pounds of fat in 2 months. I didn't want to, but I wasn't eating enough. So I ramped up my training, I didn't ramp up my food, so it had the effect of I lost a bunch of weight. Now, if you want to do that, that's the key. You have to kind of burn more than you're using. I don't super focus on the macros, the amount of fat, the amount of carbs, the amount of protein. What I would say, if you're trying to lose weight, they always kind of talk about when it's kind of 3,500 calories per pound of fat. So to lose a pound of fat, you kind of need a 3,500 calorie deficit over a period of time. If you want to put on muscle, it varies, but I think they kind of say you need like 2,600 to put on a pound of muscle. Now realize, to put on a pound of muscle, you can't just eat 2,600 more calories and it's going to turn to muscle. It won't. I have to stress the muscle, so I need to do like big weights, big composite movements, like squat, deadlift, bench press. I need to get the big muscles involved, and I need to be exhausting the muscles so they ache. So then it will build the muscle, and then I have to give it the fuel to be able to build. So if I'm trying to actually put on muscle, I might aim for 200-300 calories extra a day, but it needs to be good calories, not just candy. I need good building blocks, some good protein, some good carbs. I will eat bits of candy when I'm training because I'm just going to burn it off straight away. I'm going to use it for carbs. Friday night and Saturday night, I have a candy bar for dessert. But outside that, I don't really eat cakes or sweets. Now, I don't eat vegetables. I don't eat salad. I always think of the diet of a 6-year-old. Those are the foods I eat. If the food normally comes with a little toy in a cardboard box, I probably eat that. So my diet is generally terrible. I try and eat fruit, like my smoothies. So I try and eat about 4 or 5 portions of fruit a day. But I really eat like no vegetables, no salad. I take multivitamins. I take sort of cod liver oil to try and get the things I'm missing from my food. But I enjoy my food. I eat bread, I eat pasta, again, I eat burgers, hot dogs. I burn it off. I do the exercise, I burn it off. But the key thing really is about finding your base, find out what you're burning. And right, if you want to lose weight, you need to be having less coming in than is going out. If you want to put weight on, like muscle, I need to have more coming in. You're not going to build Rome in a day. People, when they're trying to lose weight, might aim for 300 to 500 calorie a day deficit to sort of gradually lose weight. Same for building muscle. I'm actually trying to add some weight at the moment, so I'm actually increasing that even more, maybe a couple of 100 calories extra a day on top of that. Again, because I lost more weight than I intended to. But that's really the key to it. And again, like Saturdays, I do like a 6.5 hour bike ride. So in that bike ride, I might burn 4,300 calories during that bike ride. Now I consume a bunch of energy gels and waffles. I have PB&J sandwiches. I have Gatorade Endurance. I might consume, 2,600 calories during the bike. But then I do an hour of weight training. So that's like still a 2,000 calorie deficit that I cannot make up in the day. So Saturday I'll actually have maybe 1,000 calorie deficit no matter how much I eat. Sunday I don't train. I'll maybe have 1,000 calorie surplus. So it actually balances out overall. So that's kind of the key thing when you think about what you eat. So I mean, I guess kind of that was my key point. There's degrees of inaccuracy. If you look at exercise equipment and it tells you how many calories you burn, it's guessing. It doesn't really know. It tries to base it based on your weight, but everyone burns things differently. You're more efficient. The more you train, the more efficient your body gets. But just pay attention. If you're starting exercise routine, the weight may be an indication, but you might gain muscle. Muscle is denser than fat. So your weight may stay the same, but your body composition is changing. So how do your clothes feel? Do you start to see kind of veins popping up in places? That would say, oh, my body fat is going down, but my weight may not change. That's why I like the little H20N scale. Tuesday night, Thursday night, Saturday night, I can kind of just track roughly, oh, okay, I'm not putting on fat, but I'm gaining muscle. Okay, that's a good thing. This was more serious, I guess, than I really intended. I just had this horror scenario that people were going to say, oh, I should eat 4,200 calories a day. That would probably be a disaster for most people. What you want to focus on is try and find that base number for you. Think about, what are your goals? Are you trying to lose or gain? Do it slowly. If you try and do some big bang, you'll never maintain it. Again, the most you ever want to kind of be a deficit is maybe 500, but maybe a 3 to 500 kind of deficit here. Here you maybe go for maybe a 2 to 300 surplus if you're trying to gain weight. But again, to gain muscle, you're going to have to really tense and work out. Otherwise, it's not going to grow. You have to stress it so that it knows, hey, okay, yeah, I need to build up, I need to repair. And that's how you'll gain muscle. If you just eat extra calories, it's just going to mostly turn to fat. So just bear that in mind. But that's the numbers. So that's where I come up with my average for the weekday. Again, weekends, it's completely different. Saturdays, I might consume 6,000. Sundays, I might consume 3,500. But that's kind of my floor for during the week that seems to work for me. So that's where I got that number from. So yeah, go and work out your number, and hopefully that makes sense and answers the question.